Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting live from Lagos. Here are the stories making our headlines this hour. A fight breaks out in the House of Representatives over visits of the chairman of the new PDP to the lower chamber. Senate President backs a call for the convocation of national conference. Court declares Tony Nwoye ineligible to contest the November 16 governorship election in Anambra State. And Brazilian president calls off state visit to Washington over allegations of espionage on her country. Well, remember, all our top stories and other programs are on our website. It's channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. If you're on the go, then visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on an iPad, an iPhone, or a BlackBerry. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android and Nokia 920 from their respective stores. A federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt has declared that Mr. Tony Nwoye is not eligible to participate as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the November 16 Anambra governorship election. Delivering judgment in the suit filed by Mr. Nicholas Ukachukwu against Mr. Tony Nwoye, the People's Democratic Party national chairman of the party, and INEC, Justice Sulaiman Aliyu gave an order compelling the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize Mr. Nicholas Ukachukwu as the authentic candidate of the PDP for the Anambra State governorship election. At the resumed hearing of the suit filed by Mr. Nwoye against INEC and the PDP in Abuja today, counsel to Mr. Ukachukwu, Nwafo Rizu, notified the Abuja Court of the judgments delivered earlier in the day by the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, disqualifying Mr. Nwoye as the candidate of the party. Hearing in the suit brought by Mr. Nwoye against INEC and the PDP in the Abuja court was therefore stalled as the presiding judge, Justice Elias Chukwu, ordered for the certified true copy of the judgments against Mr. Nwoye, saying he would not go further on the case until he got the judgments of the sister court. Mr. Nwoye had, through his counsel, Yusuf Ali, approached the court in Abuja seeking an order to compel INEC to recognize him as the flag bearer of the PDP in the forthcoming Anambra governorship election. Justice Chukwu later adjourned further hearing of the suit to September the 20th. And in spite of measures aimed at tackling corruption in Nigeria, the menace appears to be taking new dimension for President Goodluck Jonathan. However, one measure that may stem the tide is for Nigerians to stop celebrating or rewarding corrupt individuals. President Jonathan was speaking at the 54th Annual Conference of the Nigerian Economic Society in Abuja, where he urged Nigerians to go beyond just blaming government for the problem.
This year's Nigerian Economic Society Conference is unique in several ways. They chose to discuss institutional reforms and economic development, issues the president says are timely. He told them what he has done so far using institutions of government, but he challenges Nigerians to also get involved in the fight against corruption.
To bring corruption down in Nigeria, it's not just blaming government or blaming police, but all individuals must frown at people who have what they are not supposed to have, who live in houses they're supposed not to live in, who drive cars they're not supposed to drive, who wear suits more expensive than and until we as Nigerians are able to do this, then invariably we are all rewarding corruption. And until we stop that, I don't think we'll get to where we want to go.
The president was reacting to the keynote address by a professor of economics from the Columbia University. He identifies what he calls perceived corruption as a clog in the wheel of progress of institutions in Nigeria.
Comparing different entities in the country, 94% of respondents perceive political parties as corrupt. 92% perceive the police in the same light, but most disturbing, 2/3 of respondents felt the judiciary was corrupt or very corrupt. 10 years ago, a government study of governance and corruption led by ABU had also identified essentially the same public sector institutions among those that are most corrupt in the country.
Highlight of the day was the award of fellowships on two prominent Nigerians, the renowned economist Dr. Eyitayo Lambo and the Minister of Finance Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. President of the society is bothered that government institutions in Nigeria can be made to work better for democracy to thrive.
Strong institutions will support sustainable democratic federalism in Nigeria.
The government says it looks forward to getting greater ideas that will emanate from the conference, ideas that will help in the effort to reform the existing institutions in the country. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
The federal government has again reaffirmed its commitment to address issues relating to food and water scarcity in the country. The Minister of Water Resources, Mrs. Sarah Chekwe, said this in Abuja at the inauguration of the Governing Board of UNESCO Category 2 Regional Center for Integrated River Basin Management. She advised members of the board to ensure the immediate implementation of the aims of the center, which is located in Kaduna, northwest Nigeria.
It is important to note that member countries in the sub-region have several decades of experience in river basin management with mixed results. There are critical river basin management problems in the sub-region, which the Regional Center on Integrated River Basin Management will address, having been established. There is the need for relevant organizations to come together to address the issues relating to climate extremes, food security, water scarcity, water quality, environmental degradation, and civil unrest arising from water conflicts which hinder economic growth and sustainable development in the West African sub-region.
Still ahead on the news at 10, it's still a bearish atmosphere at the Nigerian equities market as the key index dips marginally. That's all business news. Do join us again.